allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have the installation of our new mayor, Mr. George Proto, and our council members that are present. Council member Sambo Brown has already been sworn in early due to these surgeries. So we have. Mr. Proto,
Yes.
you're on.
Well, first let me say that I'm here in official capacity to represent the election board of Northampton County. And I'm here to certify that at a meeting of the election board of the county of Northampton held on May 7, 2014, on examination of the official records deposited in the office of the court, circuit court, it was ascertained and determined that an election held on May 6, 2014, George Proto was duly elected as the mayor of Cape Charles. At the same meeting, we also determined that Joan Natale was duly elected for a member of the town council in Cape Charles. Chris Bannon, would you mind coming up, Chris? Was duly elected a member of the town council in Cape Charles for a term commencing July 1st and ending on June 30th, 2018.
Chris. Chris.
Now, I'd like to say a little personal note before we go into the official. I want to personally thank you for what you're about to do, what you have done. And I extend my congratulations and all the best of luck. Thank you, and all the best of luck. Thank you, and all the best of luck. And if I can do anything to help, please call on me at any time, and I will be glad to help. I'm going to turn it over to the officials.
Now to make it completely official.
Take that. Mr. Proto, please raise your right hand.
Do you, George R. Proto, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as mayor of the town of Cape Charles, commencing July 1, 2014, and expiring June 30th, 2018, unless earlier removed, according to the best of your ability, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations. One more thing. Council members, if you don't mind, I'll swear you together. Please raise your right hand. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as council members for the town of Cape Charles, commencing July 1, 2014, and expiring June 30th, 2018, according to the best of your ability, so help you God.
Yay! Congratulations. Thank you.
Press here's yours, if you'll sign that form. Thanks, dear. I'll fax it to you.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're finished. No, we're not finished. Don't worry.
Thank you, Tracy.
I'm not. Forgive me for not saying I have to go to.
But watch your speed going out of town. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ralph.
Congratulations.
At this time, we will address public comment. The mic will not function this evening, so we will all speak, and when you come up to the podium as loud as you can.
Dory Southern.
Okay, speak as loudly as I can. My name is Dory Southern. I live at 104 Monroe Avenue. Dear Mayor and Town Council, your agenda tonight includes consideration of another time extension to Sharon Ventures to convert Cape Carlsel into apartment units. Please consider the following. The Historic District Review Board did not grant a certificate of appropriateness for parking lots as proposed by Sharon Ventures. That matter is still supposed to be reviewed by the Historic District Review Board, but the memo from the town manager attached to tonight's agenda states that final approval was granted by the review board. In fact, the only approval granted by the review board was for 5 specific requests by the developer. The developer has never requested permission to build a parking lot outside the front door of the building. If permission is not granted, does that mean no approval is required? The town planner should not allow that. The conditional use permit to allow an apartment house in an R1 residential zone expired more than a year ago. In addition, the CUP was never issued to Sharon Ventures, but instead to Echelon Resources. A new conditional use permit should be applied for in the name of Sharon Ventures before town council issues any further time extensions. This includes a public hearing. This is a town code requirement that should not be ignored. The town told VDOT, this is number 3, when it applied for the grant for the multi-use trail, that the front of the school would be the trailhead. Now the town has sold the trailhead as part of the school. That could create problems for the trail grant. There is no record, number 4, of the Historic District Review Board approving the removal of the historic features in front of the school, which include the flagpole and the stanchions. There is also no record of a change of address of the school from 23 Park Road to 423 Plum Street. These actions should also be documented and could be issues of concern to the Virginia Department of Historic Resources. The town has, number 5, the town has never issued a water bill to the owners of the school during the 18 months it has been private property. That is a loss to ratepayers of $2,000 to date. Meanwhile, owners of other vacant buildings in town are required to pay a monthly bill. Why does the town not enforce its own code? Town council should research these questions before granting any further extension to Sharon Ventures. In fact, it is not too late to rule the developer has not fulfilled his commitment and must return the building and receive a refund of the $10 paid. Then the school can be returned to public service as it was supposed to be, when it was returned to the town by Northampton County more than 20 years ago. And I emailed this to you. Okay.
Heinz Summer.
My name is Heinz Sommer. I live on 7 Kings Court in Cape Charles. First, let me thank you to the treasurer, Mrs. Pocock, for giving me all the answers to the questions I raised during the meeting last week. I recognize that there is a lot of information, financial information, on the town website. Mrs. Pocock guided me patiently through all the necessary steps to get the information. I additionally have 2 questions. Number 1, why does the town buy vehicles rather than leasing them? This would help you in your cash flow. Number 2, what is the total amount of contingency in the different budget line items? I only could identify 2. The first one is a contingency fund in your financial papers in the amount of $120,000. The second one is the town manager includes in his budget $200,000 roughly in contingency. I could not identify the exact amount. Only these 2 items combined would reduce the budget by about $300,000. On the other side, the revenues generated by real estate taxes are approximately $1.1 million. This means the real estate taxes could be reduced by between $25 to 30%, even without cutting any budgeted expenditures. This would make our town more attractive to potential home buyers and investors. We do have currently almost 2,000 building lots and more than 100 homes on the market in our town. This is mainly in Bay Creek, which are looking for buyers. If sold and built, this would broaden our tax base substantially and also help our town to attract new businesses and help existing businesses increase their revenues, increase their taxes to the benefits of Cape Charles. Thank you.
Thank you. This time we need approval of the agenda format, and I do have an addition which is listed under item 8E, Gale matter request for a variance, so that's a new item under new business. So I need a vote please for that addition. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, hearing no objections. The agenda format is approved by unanimous consent. Approval of the minutes. Joe?
I move that the minutes be approved as presented.
Second.
Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. By unanimous consent, the department reports, treasurer's report, which is an action item.
Okay, is there an outcome? The total cash on hand, go to the cash first, is $963,882. This is an overall decrease of $107,313 from April, primarily due to capital project payments of $129,000 for the month. The total restricted or reserved cash is $1,315,663. Please note that I've added the PNC bond proceeds to this report. $42,065 was moved from that account in May to pay for the wastewater plant grinder. So that's the deduction there. Total cash in all accounts as of May 31st was $2,279,545. In the tax category section, it shows a comparison of taxes collected from fiscal year 14 over 13. Overall, there's an 11% increase in tax collections over 2013. Business licenses are up 46%, which is a $28,000 increase over last year. Golf cart decals are down by $931, which is an 18% decrease. However, in early June, it received another 1,500 new decal payments. License tax shows a 77% increase of $7.9 thousand. Machinery and tool tax is down by 13% from $4,000 over last year. Wheels tax shows a 23% increase of $41,000. Penalties and interest on all property taxes increased by 84% or $26.6 thousand. Collection of prior year real estate and personal property taxes increased by 133% this year and amounts to $75.7 thousand. Transient occupancy tax shows a $4,014 increase. Two. This page is measuring performance to budget and as of over last year's performance as well. So the general fund shows year-to-date revenue of $2.27 million and year-to-date expenses of $2.3 million for a net balance of $236,500. The public utilities fund shows a year-to-date revenue of $1.411 million and year-to-date expenses of $1.314 million for a net balance of $96.8 thousand. The harbor fund shows May year-to-date revenue of $809,000 and year-to-date expenses of $962,000 for a net negative balance of $153,000. As of yesterday, the harbor has recouped $5,000 in its shortfall. It's $40,000 due last week. Sanitation fund shows year-to-date revenue of $157,000, and year-to-date expenses of $140,000 for a net balance of $17,000, which is attributable to timing differences. Page 3 is capital projects. The second to last column on the right, actual fiscal year 14. As of May, the Finance Department dispersed $129,000 for capital projects. And as of May 30th, we've paid $55,000 on the multi-use trail project, $192,700 on the fishing pier repair project, $27,000 on the Civic Center accessibility and refurbishing project, $101,000 on the purchase of the 7 lots coming to town, Block A, 1 through 7, $19,000 on the sidewalk near Heritage Acres, and we've spent $8,500 for waterfront projects. $106,000 was carried over into fiscal year 14 for the wastewater treatment plant construction. We're wrapping up the project and paying final bills. The backwash vault, $27,800 was paid on that. The harbor skater was $12,000, and we spent $7,500 on marinas and shore floating slip. Page 4 shows year-to-date collections for real estate taxes, personal property taxes, license, machinery, and tools taxes. Total real estate value for the town, $409,929,500. Real estate collection, we're at 93% of budget. We collected $1,063,309. As of the 15th of June, we're still at 93%, which is a modest increase there so far. The personal property taxes, machinery and tools taxes, we've collected 79% of the total bill, and a very little increase as of June 15th. For all prior year property, interest, and penalty collections, we are at 285% of budget as of May 31st, and at 290% of budget as of June 15th. New this month is a percent of credit card fees on tax receipts, which is around 3%. There are many types of fees depending on the type of card used, so it'll vary by 0.01 or 0.02 each year. The town's total debt balance is $10.17 million. We're on a debt service schedule and all payments are current. Per the schedule, all balances will be paid by 2032. Any questions?
If there are no questions, I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. There are no objections. Treasurer's report is accepted by unanimous consent. Thank you. Planning Commission and boards, if you need to add anything by all means.
Anyone has any questions, just let me know. We have a new addition to the town staff as of this morning. Rob Testament had his little boy, Dylan, this morning, 9.2 pounds, 21 inches long. So he will be out of the office for the next 2 weeks, and we'll all be chipping in the care department. So if anybody has any questions on this report, just let me know.
Or call Jeff like I did.
Well, we'll try to know. And any other questions for any other department reports? Jen Willis is out sick today. And if you have anything for recreation, I can pass it on. The only other thing that I have to add is, I believe council was emailed, we received a letter from the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary from Ron West for the police department, expressing their sincere appreciation for the support of Chief Pruitt and Officer Pfeiffer provided the auxiliary over the recent weeks. They assisted with background checks and different aspects of fingerprinting and things that they needed to accomplish. And I forwarded you a copy of the letter to share with staff. And the only other thing I wanted to add is The wage and compensation study and staff analysis project has been ongoing. We had a representative at the town hall this week meeting with myself and the department heads over 2 days this week. And that study will be wrapped over the next month, and we're looking at dates to have them come and present their report and study. And we'll be scheduling that for the end of July. So that will be wrapped up over the next month. So does anyone have any other questions?
Brian, did he take that from his bond, it was $50,000 for the grant from his bond?
The council approved that in prior meeting to transfer to, it's a top priority of the list of the capital project. So we're going to show as we receive the approvals for the capital projects. And Tall Ships, it was a great weekend. If anyone was in town and enjoying the festivities, I think everything from our end and the organizations went very well. And I think I'm sure we'll have a follow-up meeting to go over some things.
We're happy with Tulsa.
There's a lot of people in town.
A lot of people.
We're glad those people who studied, I think, I can't really swear to how many was here last year. All studied, building up, it was just as studies.
In town was greater this year.
Timing.
In town, like during conference. All right, other department reports. Ted.
Just wanted to give council a brief update on construction. Construction's still steadily improving. I've done 18 permits so far this month, with about 4 new homes to be starting within the next month or so, and then potentially 2 more after that. So that's continuing on an upscale. And if all the council's not aware, or the public, we had another major fire in town last Wednesday around 2 a.m. That was a total loss on Jefferson Avenue, and working with the insurance company now to get it torn down, get it out of here before it becomes, kids want to start playing in it or somebody gets hurt around it or something. So.
And no one was hurt.
No one was hurt. And the Red Cross did get involved. We actually have a Red Cross representative that lives in Bay Creek. We found out in calling around that night, and she came right out and was able to help somewhat. I'm not sure how, but it was better than nothing.
Any other departments need to add anything? We should move on to old business. Item A, Eastern Shore Virginia PSA, the appointment to PSA subcommittee.
Madam Mayor and Council, last month we appointed one of the 2 council representatives to a joint subcommittee that will be representing the county and PSA and town of St. Charles to continue evaluating a regional wastewater project. And last month we appointed, or the council appointed Councilwoman Vitale and Councilman Frank Wendell. I did hear back from the clerk's office, heard back from Frank. He's actually out of town at a convention tonight, and that he is no longer interested in being on the committee. And I didn't personally speak with Frank. I tried to get a hold of him earlier this week, so he did call back, and he is not interested. So the action tonight is to discuss and appoint another representative to the committee. Newly elected Councilman Brown is interested in serving on the committee, and if there's any other interest in discussion to appoint.
I make a motion to appoint Samba to CSA.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Just any discussion? Yes, there's discussion. We have a motion, we have a second. If there's no discussion, then Councilman Charles Sambo Brown is our other representative from council of the PSA. By unanimous consent. And the next item, 2014-15 proposed budget and appropriation, also an action item.
On June 12th, the town council held a public hearing for the proposed budget. We had, let me say, 2 public citizens speak, we had 4 in attendance. And as Mr. Summers had explained, we had contacted the citizens who had the questions. One was Sheila Burge and answered her questions, as well as Deb met with Mr. Summers. And before you tonight is the proposed budget we've been working on over the last several months during budget work sessions. And we're going to go over different parts of the budget to explain. There is information on the table, and it's been a part of the all budget sessions, but for the FY15 proposed capital projects, in the general fund, we have the Cape Charles Multi-Use Trail Phase 2, which is 80% funded by VDOT enhancement funds. That project is estimated at $1,570,000, with grant proceeds at $1.256. The town match is estimated at $314,000, and that is pulled from the will be pulled from the PNC finance upon completion of the RFP. Right now, this is an estimated contract, estimated project cost that was finalized by our consultants, and right now the RFP is being reviewed by VDOT. And as we move forward, council we will put out the RFP probably over the next couple months, and there'll be a process, and the council will award a project amount based on the bids that we received for the project. So as we move forward, the project will start to get moving. We also have a dump truck, $30,000, which is a replacement of 2 existing older model dump trucks that has been repaired over the years. We also have $10,000 estimated to appropriate for parking design and plans to behind the library where the lots are for parking design and sanitation. That would be back in that area. We also have furnishings for the Civic Center meeting space, that's equipment and furniture, and also a replacement phone system for the municipal building, which is outdated and not serviceable anymore. And we have a police cruiser, which is $23,200, and that has grant funds of $8,100, is in the proposed budget with action to be taken tonight. In the waterworks, we also have Peck Wells Engineering and Construction for $60,000, and that's ongoing efforts to make the connection for new wells to the water plant. We have a percentage of a new truck, which is a replacement vehicle, and waterworks and wastewater. They will share a vehicle. And we have auto flush. We have 1 out of 5 for $10,000, and that will be, I believe, the first one being here in Point. And we also have engineering for the pump stations. That's an upgrade on Plum and Pine pump stations, which are the oldest pump stations. And we have $100,000 in for manhole refurbishing of the manholes. And that is listed by fund. And I believe we're going to touch on a few.
Mr. Summer asked us excellent questions about the budget that we thought we'd share them, let everyone enjoy them. This first question was, will the town or the county adjust property assessments for 2015? And the answer is no. County is using 2014 assessments for 2015 with the exception of new construction, partial construction, which they're still working on. The town's total property assessment was, for 14, was $409,929,500. Question 2, what are the duplications of efforts between town and county planning, code enforcement, and police? There are no duplications. The county does not support our zoning ordinances and code enforcement services. If they were asked to do so, they were charged for these services. The state of Virginia does fund one police officer position at about $28,000 per year. We have our own zoning ordinances in Cape Charles, and per the annexation agreement, we must have a town planner. If we were able to let that go, the county would bill us for planning services. Question 3. Our fiscal year 2014 figures in the budget reports before you given at town council meetings, actual or budget. Those are budget figures. The actual year-to-date numbers are given each month in the treasurer's report and are available online. What happens if funds are shifted from one budget to another? Town manager has been given the authority to reappropriate money from one fund to another with council approval. Please explain increases in departmental budgets for 2015 over 2014. Here as follows. First, all departments will have salary increases of 2% due to COLA adjustment. Legislative increases are due to capital expenditures, which are the purchase of furniture and equipment for the new civic center. Town clerk is the purchase of a new scanning system for archiving records and the scanning system maintenance. Finance increases are due to the anticipated increase in contracted services such as the auditor, credit card fees, accounting software maintenance, and things of that nature. Public Works, the trail project, as well as the capital expenditure, as well as increased maintenance and utilities to new park restrooms, civic center, and public infrastructure. And lastly, the town manager budget. Capital expenditure is the purchase of a new phone system. She also added addition of tourism initiatives, that's new for her budget this year, for a total of $68,700 for those initiatives. The details of which are as follows. Park Center, $5,000. Eastern Shore Eventacular, Hallship Birding Festivals, $5,000. Business Association, including a love display, $2,500. Eastern Shore Tourism Commission, which is composed of the Welcome Center, rack display, is $15,000. Fireworks, $10,000. Historical Society Welcome Center, $5,000. Print marketing, Virginia Travel Guide, Eastern Shore Travel Guide, and the printing of 4 Welcome Center wrap cards is $10,980. Social media marketing, Cape Charles by the Bay, $3,600. Website maintenance and hosting, Cape Charles by the Bay, is $5,400. And tourism contingency is $6,220. In addition, Cape Charles Volunteer Fire Department contribution was increased by $6,400, and legal fees increased by $15,000. Debt service for general fund reflects an increase of $31,156, and this is due to a scheduled principal payment of $21,293 for the 2010 bond and a 2013 bond principal and interest payment of $9,863. A general contingency fund of $120,150 has been added to the town manager budget this year, as well as a tourism contingency of $6,240. Those are the only contingencies on the budget. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, those are good questions. Good questions.
All right, so, well, we're ready. And the only other addition I would say is also the transient occupancy tax, which we have mentioned prior to, increases from 3% to 3.7%, effective January 1st, 2015. So that increase will be effective at that time. The water rate and the wastewater rate and the trash collection have changed, but the impact to the citizen as a whole remains the same as a minimum of $107.92. The water rate will decrease to $31.15, which is in the ad. And that is primarily due to a refinancing of a loan that was done in this fiscal year, which was the water tower. It had been refinanced, so there was savings for that, so that was appropriated in the water department, which is in the water rate. Also, the wastewater was an increase 63.27, and that's due to cost, and also another loan was also in that equation. The trash collection is outsourced by Davis Disposal, and we had a rate increase to $13.50, and that will be good for 2 years. And then that may increase of that. So the net impact to the consumer remains the same as the current fiscal year for utilities.
The recommendation is to adopt resolution 20140619, approving the budget for fiscal year 2014 to 2015, and making appropriation for the fiscal year by roll call vote. And I would like to omit reading the entire resolution 20140619 and roll call vote.
Vitale, yes.
Sullivan, yes.
Bannon, yes.
So done by unanimous consent. Budget has been approved. Item C, I guess every item this evening is an action item, USDA grant loan resolution for new police car. Okay, we have a motion to, we have a second. It is a resolution. Oh my goodness.
Here,
Pass. Resolution 20140619A of the governing body of the town of Cape Charles. I'd like to forego reading it, but the recommendation is to adopt this resolution to authorize the town manager to execute all applicable forms required by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Rural Development. We have a motion, well, it's a roll call vote. Goddard.
Bannon, yes.
Sullivan, yes.
Vitale, yes.
Okay, so that's the end of old business, and now for new business, item A, action item, Sharon Ventures extension request. Now, Heather.
Okay. Before you tonight is a request for an extension to complete the construction of the apartments at the school. I have listed in the staff summary all the, where we are with this project. The interior demolition structures rehabilitation permit was issued on May 20th. As a most recent update, they plan to break ground by the end of June. The current holdup at the moment is VDOT has commented on their VDOT plan, which has since been finalized and sent back to VDOT. So we anticipate, and that is for the site, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is for the site plan. So all permits, all certificates, everything over the last 2 years has brought us to the point where we are now. They have been approved by the Northampton County Tax Assessment Rehabilitation application was approved on May 28th, which is administered by the county through the assessment. Their request is for a completion of 18 months. 18 months. Our current contract says 12 months, and they're asking for longer due to unanticipated weather. My recommendation is to discuss and grant an extension. The project will, everything has led up to this point will commence, and they're asking for longer than 12 months to complete. They envision completing within 12 months, but have asked for additional time. Steve couldn't make it tonight, he was in DC. I didn't get any feedback from Councilman Wendell, but Steve, his feedback was he agreed with 3 extra months, so it would be 15 months to September 30th for any punch list or unforeseen items. And at that time, depending on weather, there could be an extension if it's needed. And that was the feedback that Councilman Bennett had
So 15 is the...
told me, or, just wanted me to share with council, so. And do you have anything to add? I mean, we've been keeping you updated on their progress monthly, so.
I mean, they're resubmitting to the town and VDOT. It should be in the mail to us right now.
And that's the last.
That's the last thing they need to get approved prior to getting a complete building permit.
Discussion?
I make a motion to follow the advice of Councilman Bennett, give them a 3-month extension, and we have to it then. So that's my motion.
3 months, or is it
3 on top of the 12, so 15 is the date. 15,
So September 30, 2016.
right? Did you say that?
15.
2015.
Did you second that?
You did?
No, he didn't.
You did.
I will. Second.
We have a motion for a 3-month on top of the 12-month extension, and we have a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved by unanimous consent. Next item, WM Slosher contract.
Okay. We are finally at the closeout of our new wastewater treatment plant construction contract. Before you tonight, we're at a settlement agreement and release of claims agreement, and this has been reviewed by legal. And as you know, we've gone through mediation earlier this year, trying to work out the different things that needed to be worked out in the contract, from the punch list and things, to also being over scheduled with the completion of the plant. We are at the everything has been resolved, the warranty items, and we've reached a proposed settlement that provides a revised final payment of $114,500. And we had withheld, we retained $144,500 of the contract to ensure completion of the work. So all the work has been done, and we are there's $30,000 difference that we have withheld for the fees for engineers and staff time. So.
And we come in at $350,000 under budget.
Yes, we are $350,000 under budget, with a total budget to fund the wastewater plant.
I make a motion we accept the agreement.
Second.
If there's any further.
Any discussion, questions? We have a motion, we have a second. Hearing no objections, so moved by unanimous consent. Let me do the next one? Sure. All right, then next to the last item, never mind, if you got it one, town council meeting location. The town council regular meetings have been held right here since 2008 due to the conversion of the former council chambers located at the town hall. And with the relocation of the Cape Charles Memorial Library, we now have the opportunity to have a new meeting place for town council meetings, which is the old library on Tazewell. In April 2014, town council renamed the building the Cape Charles Civic Center pursuant to Code of Virginia 15.2-1416. The town council must adopt a resolution in order to change the location of the regular meetings. The recommendation from the staff is to adopt this resolution, moving the location of the Cape Charles Town Council regular meetings, which will require a roll call vote. And just for the, it's not a lot of money, but we've been renting this hall for $100, which is nothing, but we won't have to cart the equipment and do everything that Libby has to do, and stay afterwards and tear it down, fold chairs and tables. So the resolution 20140-619B, moving the location of the Cape Charles Town Council regular meeting. I'm going to forego reading it, we need a roll call vote.
Godwin, yes.
Bannon, yes?
Sullivan, yes.
Natalie, yes.
So moved by unanimous consent. The Town Council representative of the Library Board. Town Council representatives serve on a number of Town Council boards and the Planning Commission. Vice Mayor Chris Bannon has served as a Town Council rep to the Library Board for 14 years, but has announced his resignation from the board effective 2014, June 30th. So the Library Board oversees the Cape Charles Memorial Library and consists of 7 members, including the Town Council representative. And they meet on a monthly basis. The members serve 4-year terms. We need to discuss and appoint a representative from council to serve on the library board. Sometimes when you miss council meetings, you get appointed. Just saying. Do we have?
She's on hearing committees.
I make a motion that the senior, almost senior member of the town council, Mr. Godwin, be appointed to the library board with the wisdom of the ages.
Oh, lovely.
Let's
we have-
for the closing of the,
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Oh, touche. Oh, how
Mr. Godwin, would you
special.
accept?
Oh,
Thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved, unanimous consent.
Tom, it's a delightful group of people,
It is.
and they're all as old as you.
All right, and now we move on to
The oldest
item
one
E,
quit.
the Gale matter, request for a variance.
Madam Mayor and Council, I don't know if you all had a chance to read your staff report. If you'll-
Yes.
There's 3 copies if you'll take a look at
Oh, we
those.
didn't see color though.
There's a residence at 614 Plum Street has had some severe water damage due to a faulty pipe in the house. I inspected on June 12th and determined that it was in an unsafe, uninhabitable condition. I met with a contractor on June 13th and to discuss what action needed to be taken. At a minimum, the entire first floor has to be completely gutted, all the way down to the studs, even the flooring. And a permit's required for that, obviously. And per the state and town code, permits are not allowed to be issued if back taxes are owed. And currently, the amount owed on that property is almost, just a little under $2,800. My suggestion was, at a minimum, have him put half down, and that would just give me the authority to issue a demolition permit, just to stop it from getting any worse. And then he would either have to arrange a payment agreement with the treasurer or pay in full prior to getting a permit to install back, put back where he could make it in a livable condition again. The reason I'm so adamant about trying to get a permit issued is the longer it sits, the worse it's going to get. and it's not even 10 years old. The house isn't even 10 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, have you spoken to Mr. Gale about the?
I have spoke with him, Debbie spoke with him, I'm not sure if Heather has, but, I don't know how he feels about any of this. I told him to contact Debbie. I don't know what discussions that he had with her, I'm not sure. I don't even know if he'd be willing to do that.
Okay.
That,
But it's not a contributing thing to the historic district. The structure isn't contributing.
no, it's a newer house, no, it's not a contributing structure.
I make a motion that we go with this recommendation and see if it's yes or no, and move forward.
I think it would be a wise thing to do, because I think it would be shameful if
It's
we
the worst
allowed
thing
a
I've ever,
house
it's
to-
the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah, I think it would be
right.
shameful to allow a house to self-destruct, just to,
After the meeting, you need to
if
look.
if Mr. Gale is willing to follow the plan you proposed, then I would agree that that would be acceptable.
Was that a second?
Yes.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved by unanimous consent. Oh, we are just flying.
That's very nice of you. Very good, Mark.
And at this point, we have mayor and council comments, 5 minutes per. And first, it is my hope that the new mayor and town council will further discussions on the possibility of a standalone emergency facility. We cannot let the 3-year initiative go away. This is economic development. We just need a plan, and we need to just, I'm asking you just not to forget it. Joe? No, you won't. So, I was hoping that would be done. We'll see how long things take. 3 years to work on something, and I'm gone, and it's still not resolved. But as long as it's kept alive, Lower Northampton will grow. That's it, and I thank you for my time.
After a 12-year reign of terror, it comes to an end on such a sweet note.
Was that part of your time?
It takes, it deducts from his time.
The only thing have you finished?
I'm finished.
The council got a letter from a citizen about the boats and jet skis on the beach. I know when I came back on council in 2006, I don't know, whenever I came back on, I had talked to Tim Crizel about it. We'd gotten sketches, what could be done, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And there's a lot, like, they bring the boats right up to the beach, the jet skis are, flying along. So something's gonna happen. I know Mr. West gave us the advice at that time, get information. But I really think something should be done there. Yes? Mr. Meeting wants to-
Put out a couple swimming buoys.
What?
Put out a couple swimming area buoys.
Yeah.
Designate an area, our swimming area, and boats are supposed to come to, that way Coast Guard or VMRC or somebody can.
I don't know, it just died.
Well,
Me
and if council concurs, I've gone back to look at the file based on that comment and brought it back out, and we'll draft something for the next meeting, whether it's application for the buoys or, we have to go back and review what we need to do with the VMRC or, what we need to apply for, and we'll bring it back to council.
I would guess I'd like to suggest that we not wait for the next council meeting if we can fast track it. Because this is beach time, not.
Right.
Everything.
I would like to add, when all of that discussion was going on, I think at the time, we tried to defer people from parking their boats to the southern end of the beach, but we left a section up to the north side for boaters. It might be something to look at, because, trying to work on getting the water taxi and the beach drop off in one of the areas, so it's something that maybe we might get a little creative.
And possibly, this is just one thing you throw out, because I'm sure that the police department would like to have a vote to police these. So if they've got funds for that.
That one,
I'm gonna head you off at the pass, Jimmy.
Well, you know, we were, I know it's your 5 minutes, but we had dinner one night at Kickapee and, it's Sunset. Yes, the Pelican Pub. And they all bring their boats in. And do you remember when that woman lost her leg? You remember that, Ron? Lost her leg because they're all around the boat, they're having beverages, the motor goes on, her leg comes off. So we need to do something before that happens. Sorry for taking away from your minutes.
You've been a delight to serve with. That's the final thing. Okay.
Thank you.
I'd only like to say it's been an interesting 4 years, and I'm honored to have been able to do this for the 4 years. And thank you for electing me then, and now I'm going to rest for a while. But thank you very much. It's been a good ride.
I think that our mayor has been excellent. He's done a great job as far as I can see. And you're in well control of your board, took care of your business, you were on point at all times. And your husband was a genius.
That's who they're gonna miss.
I really do appreciate that, and what you have done. You did do one thing, I believe you lied to me.
I did. Just one?
You told me that there wasn't anybody else available to run for this office, and you asked if I would do it.
Aren't you happy that I lied?
So I go up there and apply, and the next day, and then I found out there were 3 people. I go back the next day and see if I can get my name on. I said, no. And here I sit.
I
Can
know.
you leave me?
I left you, I know.
And that's where I am.
You're in good hands. You're in good hands.
So I got 4 years.
2 more to go.
2.
2 more. Yeah, it's been a long time already.
It's been.
But you know what? The gauntlet is picked up, I think, by a very capable person. And so I think I can make it through this
Yes, you can.
little time I got left.
Yes, you can.
I agree. I guess I'd like to repeat the comments that have already been made. It was a pleasure working with you, Dora, and with you, Mike. I love the fact that we all had different perspectives, different opinions. We talked a lot before council meetings, so we got a chance to see what the issues were. Because people may not realize that a lot of the things that we vote on here tonight, we have had work sessions on. We've gone and talked to each other, tried to get a sense for where people were falling out, what the issues were there points that we hadn't personally brought to the table and someone else brought up. So we had a chance to weigh a lot of pros and cons on a lot of the issues, so that our meetings tend to be well oiled, okay? And it's because we do our homework. So Mike has a great memory. I'm going to miss his memory immensely. He brought a lot to the table. Dara always tried to keep the peace.
And we never agree.
Sometimes that was the,
We never agree,
that's true too.
hardly ever.
But anyway, so again, it was a pleasure working with both of you. I wish you both a lot of luck. You will be missed. We will move on. Thank you.
Now you just open yourself up for something. Then we said you get accused of having meetings before the meetings.
We get accused of talking before the meetings. I didn't say we met.
He comes
Oh,
by
they
every
add-
day.
they add to
We
it.
had
Every
conversations.
day.
He
I
comes-
think what's unique is some people have different passions for different topics. So something that I feel very strongly about, to talk every day with Chris, he may not feel the same way, but it's not swaying. It's so important to me. It's not so important to him, but then he has something that is so important to him, and I don't really care about. But when you have this open friendship discussion all the time, Georgie, all the time with each other, you open your eyes and say, well, maybe she has a point, I really don't care, I'll just agree with her because it's not hurting anyone, and maybe it's not such a bad idea. We bend, and we have been doing that as long as I have been on board.
I think she's used her phone.
I don't care. Time. George, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Call me if you need me.
I will do that, and I think you've set a very high standard. Normally, I like to go into a job where things are a real mess. So anything you can do looks better, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to...
Would you write that down? This is lovely. I love that. Thank you.
Look, I think the task is to keep things going in a positive direction.
Look where we are.
I think the town's made a lot of progress. I think you have a great deal to be proud of, and I wish you much happiness in your, I guess it's retirement, I don't know what you're planning, sort of
You don't know
retirement.
what we're up to?
Yes, I don't know what you're up to.
We'll be around.
Everybody is nervous about that.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. On that note, Heather, you don't get to say anything. Oh, announcements. Where are they? I lost my page. We have, I'm very excited about the fire department's July 5th seafood festival is always outstanding. And then the 3rd of July is a work session at 6 p.m. It says tentative, but I know they won't be working on July 3rd at 6 p.m. The town offices are closed on the 4th, and then, of course, our spectacular with the same company, the fireworks. It's amazing. And then the regular meeting, I may come and watch it, July 17th.
In the civic?
In the new Civic Center. Having said that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.